Please help me welcome Jim Landtroop.
Good morning. Hello? Good morning. Didn't these guys do a great job? You know, the only bad thing about that is all these people out here are going, I wish that guy would sit down so we could sing another song. It is great to be here. It's good to see all of you here this morning. Throughout this morning, I think you're going to hear a lot about why this election in November is so important. It's so critical to the future of our nation and of our state. Whether it be redistricting, and the senator talked about some of these things, whether it be through redistricting, whether it be just an overburdensome government, whether it be high taxes, border security, violation of the 10th Amendment and states' rights, and all of these things are important. And all of these things should motivate you to get out into the polls in November. But I'm not going to go into detail on all of these issues this morning. This morning, I just simply want to take the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for loving your country enough to be here this morning. Thank you for caring enough about the future of this country for your children or children's children to be here this morning. Thank you. Thank you for understanding the times within which we live. In the Bible, there's a story. This girl named Esther. She became a queen. And she did it during a time where Haman was doing a lot of bad things to the Jewish people. And her uncle Mordecai asked her to get involved. But she was new to this. She'd never been a queen before. She didn't really know how to get involved. She really wasn't confident about it. And she said that to Mordecai. And Mordecai said, Esther, have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, God puts you here for such a time as this? Well, I know there are probably some of you out here who have never been involved politically. Maybe you're not sure of what you need to do or how you go about doing it. Maybe you just don't have the confidence to get out there. Well, I say to you, have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, God has brought you here today for such a time as this? You know, we're living in a time unlike any that our generation has ever seen. We are seeing attacks from both enemies, foreign and domestic. And it's not the first time in our nation's history that we've seen this. You know, I believe that we are in for a political awakening. I also fear that if we don't have a political awakening, that we're going to drift off and slumber in a bad dream of a socialist America. Back in the late 1770s, there were a group of people that became citizens of what we know as the United States of America. But at that time, they were under rule of an oppressive government, of a government that overtaxed, as a government that trampled their individual rights and freedoms, of a government that just simply would not listen to them. Well, these citizens went into their closets and they grabbed their muskets and they joined together to fight for their individual rights and their individual freedoms. Today, I believe, we are living under the rule of an oppressive government, under a government that taxes too much, under a government that tramples our individual rights and liberties, and under a government that just simply is not listening to us. And it is time to fight back. But our weapon is not a musket. Our weapon is our vote. This battle will not be won out in the fields. The battle will be won at the ballot box. It is time, just like our forefathers fought to take this country, it is time that we stand up and we fight to take this country back. I believe it is either time to stand up or give up. I would even offer to you at this point in our history, if you have not decided to stand up, you have already given up. Ronald Reagan said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away. It is not passed on to our children through the bloodline. It is fought for, protected, and passed on for them to do the same." And if we don't, one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was like to live in the United States where men were free. I commit to you, as long as there is breath in my body, I will never quit. I will never give up. I will always stand and fight against an oppressive government. I will stand and fight against overtaxation. I will stand up and fight for the individual rights and liberties that were given to us by our forefathers, our Constitution, and our God in heaven. You know, I heard an analogy that America is like the Titanic, and we are headed for a disaster that could totally sink us. And we, all of us, ordinary citizens like you and me, we need to stand on that deck, and we need to shout as loud as we can to everybody that will listen that there is a disaster up there. And if we do not change course, we will be in serious trouble. We must change our direction to save our individual rights and liberties. We must change our direction to restore this great country that God has so richly blessed and can bless again if we will stand up and fight for what we know is right and just in this world. In his recent speech, Restoring Honor, just a few days ago, Glenn Beck said, when this is all done and this is over and we look back, may we not say that God was on our side, rather may we say that we were on God's side. Another one of my favorite quotes from Ronald Reagan. He said, "You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we will sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness. If we fail, at least let our children and our children's children say that we justified our brief moment here, that we did all that could be done." My question to each of you is, have you done all that could be done? You know, the Star-Spangled Banner actually has 3 verses to it. And I'm going to leave you with the last part of the 3rd verse of the Star-Spangled Banner. It says, "Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just. And this be our motto, in God is our trust." Thank you. Have a great morning, and may God bless you all.